Journalists across the country are at risk of arrest for simply doing their job. If they're not protected by their First Amendment right, how will you be protected by yours?
Planning on heading to downtown Greenville this weekend? It may cost you more than before. We break down Greenville's new parking prices so you know before you go.
The newest batch of the Epstein files was just released, and you will not believe some of the names implicated in them. Coming up next.
Good afternoon. I'm Avery Johnson, and this is the Nightly News. We begin our show with health news. Measles has come to Furman. The Earl Student Health Center has confirmed that we have at least one case on campus. The South Carolina Department of Public Health has reported that South Carolina has up to 950 cases. Here are the symptoms you should look out for: cough, runny nose, red, watery eyes, and a red blotchy rash that usually begins on the face and spreads from there. If you have some of these symptoms, call the Earl Student Health Center for an appointment and do not go to class. We are now on day 16 in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance case. Last week, the FBI released these photos that were time-stamped the night before Guthrie was found to be missing. On February 1st, over the weekend, they found a glove believed to be one shown in these screen grabs. They have sent that one off for DNA testing. The Department of Justice is slowly releasing the Epstein files. Our Alex Black has been looking into what they contain and has new information about what's in them and why this is, perhaps, the largest scandal our nation and maybe the world has ever faced.
This file right here is just the tip of the iceberg. On January 30th, 2026, the latest batch of the Epstein files was released and gave us 3.5 million new documents along with 2,000 videos and 180,000 images, all on the DOJ website. This release gave us insight into so much more about what was truly happening on the island, as well as who Epstein's closest associates were. One of the most striking things I found was Epstein's close relationship with multiple college professors at many prestigious universities. Mark Tramo is a college professor at UCLA and is mentioned over 1,000 times in the files. Not only was he mentioned, however, but he was also emailing Epstein frequently. In file EFTA 02221499, which is an email chain between the two, Tremo says, "Was just reading today that newborns will suck on a pacifier more vigorously if it triggers playback of a recording of her/his mother's voice than another woman's voice." Another Ivy League professor was mentioned in the files. David Gelernter is a computer science professor at Yale, whose name was mentioned 563 times in the files. In file EFTA 02037005, which is an email chain between the two, in 2011, Gelernter describes one of his students to Epstein where he says, "I have a perfect editoress in mind, Yale senior, worked at Vogue last summer, runs her own campus mag, art major, completely connected, the small good-looking blonde." The Yale professor was asked about his comments to Epstein and if he regretted their relationship by the Yale News, to which he responded, "Nothing." Another thing many people are talking about regarding the Epstein files are the redactions. Obviously, victims' names are redacted and should be redacted. However, alleged perpetrators' names are also being redacted. For instance, in file EFTA 00749241, an email exchange where Epstein says, "Where are you? Are you okay? I love the torture video."
On Wednesday, February 11th, Ro Khanna revealed the name of the person who sent this email.
It was saying online that the Sultan, who was named, was he the person in the torture email? Is that correct?
That is correct. I mean, that is the person they were protecting. Why not put out his name?
The Sultan they are talking about is Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayam, who is the head of global ports at DP World, a Dubai-owned logistics company, who announced his resignation 2 days ago. The Sultan was not the only high-up the DOJ was covering for. Les Wexner, founder of Victoria's Secret, was also listed as a co-conspirator of Epstein. Thomas Massey grilled Attorney General Pam Bondi on the topic.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40
Chairman.
minutes, you asked me a question.
You can't give
Within
me-
40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a
4,700.
co-conspirator.
According to the DOJ, this is only half of the files that are set to be released, and hopefully the latter half gets released soon, as the DOJ is well behind their deadline for releasing all the files, so that we can finally understand the full scope of what was going on. I'm Alex Black with the Nightly News.
Thank you, Alex. So far, no arrests have been made except for Ghislaine Maxwell, of course. She testified to Congress but was pleaded the fifth of every question and said she would only speak if she received clemency. But the Clintons have agreed to testify about what they know in front of Congress later this month. These will be filmed and transcribed depositions. As journalists across the country continue to report on the U.S. immigration enforcement activities, they face growing risks, changes, and consequences to their careers. Gali Lyons looked into these recent arrests.
Independent journalist Georgia Fort was arrested on the morning of January 30th in her home in Minnesota. Her coverage on the Minnesota ICE church protest was deemed strategic attack on the free press. She was arrested for doing her job.
This is all stemming from the fact that I filmed a protest as a member of the media. We are supposed to have our constitutional right of the freedom to film, to be a member of the press.
Fort said she had prepared herself for the possibility of gaining publicity and dealing with any repercussions of covering the Minnesota church protests against ICE.
Agents are at my door right now. They're saying that they were able to go before a grand jury sometime, I guess, in the last 24 hours, and that they have a warrant for my arrest.
After being arrested and taken into custody before her hearing with the judge, Fort received an indictment for her arrest on 2 charges: conspiracy against right of religious freedom at place of worship and injure, intimidate, and interfere with exercise of right of religious freedom at a place of worship.
In Fort's article, "I was arrested for doing my job as a reporter. Who's next?" she concludes, "If we as a nation fail to defend that principle now, clearly and without compromise, we may soon find that there is nothing left to defend." Fort's arrest poses a national concern for all journalists in the U.S. Even citizen journalists taping ICE were attacked as well. Is anyone protected by their First Amendment rights anymore? This is Gali Lyons in Greenville for Nightly News. Back to you.
Georgia Fort's arrest is just one example of the way journalism is changing in this country. Other journalists, like Don Lemon, is another example. As ICE activities continue, journalists will continue to exercise their First Amendment rights and do their job to inform the rest of the country. Alex Murdaugh still doesn't know if the South Carolina Supreme Court will overturn his March 2023 conviction for killing his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul. He is currently serving 2 life sentences without parole for those crimes, along with more time for financial crimes. We're keeping an eye on the court's decision and will bring you any updates as they are released. For any DINs planning on hitting up downtown Greenville this weekend, be aware that there are new changes on how to pay for parking at the downtown garages. Although visitors now receive 2 hours of free parking, Hour 3 will cost you $6, with every additional hour costing $2, putting a serious hurt on the wallets of diners and showgoers. Card is accepted, but you may need cash for special events. Now we turn to the skies, where an increasing number of upstate residents are flocking for their travel needs.
Are you a paladin on the go? Well, chances are you fly through GSP and are one of the over 3 million record-breaking passengers that passed through Greenville-Spartanburg International Airport's gates this year.
This past year, we surpassed 3 million passengers for the first time, and that is just a reflection of how the upstate of South Carolina is growing.
As the upstate grows, so does our airport. And with all that growth, GSP is excited for new expansions and destinations coming soon.
For more information on flights and destinations, visit gsp.com. In celebration of Black History Month, our reporter Jada Hunt takes us inside how Furman is honoring this month.
As Furman University honors Black History Month, the celebration is commemorated with the Divine Nine Greek Showcase.
It always makes me excited to see big groups of people that remind me of me, because I only get to see that during the holidays, like Thanksgiving and Christmas. So it's always good to see a whole bunch of student representation.
The Divine Nine are 9 historically Black fraternities and sororities, each with its own history, traditions, and impact on Black communities across the country. Wednesday night, Furman Showcase brought them all together, giving students a chance to see their steps, songs, and spirit on full display.
To me, strolling is just a way for us to express ourselves and show off our sorority in a way that other sororities and fraternities may not understand. And it's sacred because this is our history, this is generational. It's for us to connect to other generations of AKAs and other generations of other sororities and fraternities.
Although several of the Divine Nine were presented at Wednesday night's showcase, only 2 currently have chapters on Furman's campus: Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated and Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. For AKA, their presence goes beyond performance, focusing on providing service to all mankind.
Well, Rosetta is very, very influential in helping all different types of generations. We work with children, we work with elderly. We really love to work with each other and work to build our friendship and sisterhood through our service.
This is Jada Hunt reporting for Nightly News.
For students at Furman, the Divine Nine continues to create a space for representation, culture, and community during Black History Month. Also across campus, some dancers may be recovering from all the fun they had last week. That's because Furman University's Heller Service Corp hosted the annual Valentine's Dance in support of Thrive Upstate, a Greenville nonprofit supporting adults with special needs. This event offered an evening of music, dancing, and connection between Thrive participants and Furman students.
Heller is a great way to serve my community and get in my service hours while also fulfilling my heart.
We are so honored to have such an amazing service organization on Furman's campus that goes above and beyond for our local community with events like the Valentine's Dance. For more information on when Heller is hosting their next event, you can look them up at on Heller Service Corp at furman.edu or on their Instagram at FUHeller. The Furman Department of Theater Arts is bringing a classic comedy to the stage this week. The Importance of Being Earnest has come to life with a talented cast, a dedicated creative team, and a story that has stood the test of time. Known for its humor, mistaken identities, and iconic characters, the production blends classic comedy with a fresh collegiate energy. With actors working hard on dialects and character work, this show promises sharp wit, big laughs, and a memorable night at the Playhouse.
Live theater is such a good time. There's really nothing like it. Sitting there and experiencing something right in front of you. For me, it's a really joyful experience to see those people and see the results of their hard work.
The Importance of Being Earnest will run February 18th through February 22nd in the Playhouse. Performances are open to the public, with evening shows at 7:30 p.m. and weekend matinees at 2 p.m. We hope to see you all there. And now, let's head over to our Paladins in Sports with Will.
Thanks, Avery. We begin tonight with Paladins basketball. On February 7th, women's basketball took on ETSU for their second meeting of the season. But first, the Paladins dedicated this game to all women in athletics, bringing all the sports teams together to celebrate and promote their sports to children. The matchup between Furman and ETSU would be electric, with the Paladins looking to pick up their second win against the Bucks this season. The Dins came out looking strong after a tough loss earlier in the week. Sophomore forward Claire Goyle was doing it all. With 19 points, Claire was working the basket with power, and with the surge in defense this game, she also snuck in 4 blocks at the basket to dominate both sides of the court. Junior guard Lauren Bailey made some crucial three-pointers. She was 3 for 5 outside the paint, making 2 influential shots to keep the Paladins ahead through the end of the third quarter. Dins would be up 39-37. Down to the fourth, both teams began trading baskets with an even score. ETSU would eventually catch a break, a final three-pointer to seal the game, topping Furman 58-55. The next day, men's basketball took on the UNCG Spartans in Timmons Arena. This is the second meeting between Furman and the Spartans after an 89-66 win over the Spartans earlier in the season. Furman had been battling several injuries in the past weeks, including star players Cooper Bowser and Asa Thomas, who both played in Sunday's game, making key plays. Cooper Bowser led scoring for the Paladins, putting 20 points on the board, and was making 6 rebounds. Cooper was working magic on both sides of the court, drawing fouls for crucial free throw shots that the Dins desperately needed. Someone else to watch out for is freshman Alex Wilkins. Explosive and quick on his feet, Alex put up 15 points, keeping the Dins on a thin line between the Spartans, who were averaging 53% from the three-point line. Despite some crucial three-pointers from Asa Thomas and a hyped-up crowd cheering the team on, the Paladins fell short to UNCG's explosive offense and three-point percentage with a final score of 67-64 Spartans. Let's take a look at the softball scoreboard now. Furman softball is in full swing as the Paladins hosted the Purple and White Invitational. Here are the results. Furman faced Bowling Green on February 12th, playing 2 games. In the first game, the Paladins lost 17-8, but won the second game 10-4. This is also Furman's first win of the season. On Valentine's Day, Furman got their hearts broken in a 14-4 Mercy Rule loss to Lipscomb, giving them a record of 1-8 on the season so far. The softball team will not be back home until February 27th for the Paladin Invitational. The second week of the Winter Olympics has concluded, with the United States now having 17 medals in total. Here's the breakdown. The United States has 3 new gold medals, 2 of which coming from Jordan Stoltz, who won both the 500 meter and 1,000 meter in speed skating, and the third coming from Elizabeth Lemley, who won in moguls. This brings the total amount of gold medals to 5. There is also 4 new silver medals, with Jalen Kauf winning 2 in moguls and dual moguls. Chloe Kim earned silver in the halfpipe for snowboarding, and the duo of Madison Chalk and Evan Bates in mixed ice dance. This gives the US 8 silver medals in total. Finally, there are 2 new bronze medals, with Elizabeth Lemley getting the bronze in dual moguls and Jessie Diggins in the 10-kilometer freestyle and cross-country skiing. This gives us a total of 4 bronze medals. We'll have the next batch of medals in our next show. Speaking of skiing, we have a Paladin here at home who has spent some significant time out on the slopes too. Avery Johnson has the details on this Dins You Know.
This Winter Olympics season is hitting a little differently for this Din You Know. Jana Davis has been ski racing and increasing diversity in the industry one run at a time, thanks to her mom.
She put me on skis when I was 2. She grew up skiing, never racing or anything. And then when I was 5, there was this race program. She put me into it and I just fell in love with it.
As Jana grew up, others noticed her skills on the slopes, which landed her some big opportunities.
I got this amazing scholarship to go ski. So the past 4 years, I was in New Hampshire at Holderness School, where I was skiing as well as focusing on my academics, and I really loved it. I got a scholarship through the National Brotherhood of Skiers, which is a program that hopes to make skiing more diverse and more inclusive for all people of all sorts of different backgrounds, especially Black people. So that was really awesome. I was there on a scholarship, which was really amazing, and I was super fortunate to do that.
She never would have expected being in ski films until recently.
I was in the Warren Miller film when I was in 8th grade, and then again my freshman year, which was super fun. I kind of got to get that aspect of it, kind of being on camera. That one was really all about like diversity. I was there with 3 of my closest friends who are also Black, and it was kind of all about how do we make skiing more diverse, because it really is a white sport.
Before coming to Furman, Jana starred in her biggest film yet.
I got a text message on Instagram being like, do you want to be in this all-woman ski film? This one is like really new. I just filmed in past March, and it's coming out this fall, which I'm super excited about, and I have a little segment in it, which is awesome.
Now in college at Furman, this past month's snow has made Jana reminisce about her time on the slopes.
This is my 14th year that I've never, in 14 years that I haven't raced, which is kind of weird, but I'm ready to be done with that, just be able to do it for fun, whether that's just going out, coaching, or being in these ski films, which is super awesome.
Her passion for skiing continues now as a coach, inspiring the next generation of future skiers.
I love working with kids. That's what I want to major in is something with kids. So that's a great way where I can incorporate my passion with something that's also super fun and working with kids. I love being able to teach my skills and pass that on.
This Winter Olympics season, be on the lookout for the Women's Alpine Ski Race competition to see people like Jana in action on a global stage. This has been Avery Johnson reporting for the Nightly News at Furman University, and back to you.
Be on the lookout for Jana in the new ski film Winter Elements coming out in the fall of 2026.
I mean, that is just an incredible opportunity to be able to ski and be on film in a women's film. I think that is super cool. I don't know about you.
And stack school all into the mix of that.
Yeah.
Definitely here at Furman, classes. A lot of tough stuff going on for her.
Yeah, super cool to be able to connect the Winter Olympics happening right now to her. Very, very awesome. Well, thanks, Will. That does it for us now, and we'll leave you with some scenes from our beautiful campus.